Welcome to the 2017-2018 edition of Teal Town, USA After Dark. Unfortunately, the Sharks fall 5-3 against the Philadelphia Flyers. If you want to be a part of the show, please contact us on Twitter or use the Google chat. Follow hashtag Teal Town, give us a tweet with the hashtag Teal Town USA tagline at TL Town USA. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube. I think I got this kind of mixed up, but anyhow, joining me tonight is the lovely and talented Rocket Backhander.
Hello.
We also got AJ Strong on deck.
Hey now.
And somewhere down Santa Clara Street, I would assume, Mr. Puck Guy himself, Eric Cura. Eric? Maybe not. Eddie just dropped off.
And he's gone.
And we had him, and he's gone.
And he's gone.
Puck Guy brought to you by AOL. AOL, when you just want to drop in and leave.
You have to at least give it up to Puck Guy. Like, he doesn't even keep the AOL at home. Like, he takes it with him.
Yeah, he's very consistent. Very consistent.
Do you know how tough it is to find an iPhone 8 that has AOL?
It's pretty darn tough, I hear.
Very tough. Those dial-up modems are a pain in the ass to carry around.
Yeah.
Like 20 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. The Sharks fall tonight 5-3 as we kind of opened up at the beginning here. Guys, what are your initial thoughts on the game? We'll start off with you, AJ.
I really enjoyed Kevin LeBanc tonight. The thing that upset me a little bit is that we are literally the first game into the season, and it seemed like Petey DeBoer was ready to throw the names into the blender really quickly. I saw a whole bunch of, it started off where it was LeBanc up with the Joes and Bodker Couture with Donskoy and Hertel, Meyer, Hansen, and then all of a sudden you flip the script and you blink of an eye in the second period, and all of a sudden it was like Hertel centering Ward and Tierney or something. I mean, it was. I would have liked to have seen DeBoer have a little bit of consistency, but the Sharks only got one power play goal tonight, and I know last night I called that they would get two. And you know what? If the refs actually had their act together, the Sharks should have been able to play.
Actually, technically, the Sharks were 2 for 6 tonight on the power play.
Were they 2 for 6?
2 for 6. Oh. Kevin LeBanc at the end of the first period, and Logan Couture in the third period. But
they did. So hold on. Wait. Because I had just hell rained upon me. Okay, so end of the first period, LeBanc gets the power play goal. Beginning of the third period, Logan Couture gets the power play goal. Bitches, I called it last night. I said the Sharks would get 2 power play goals. That was one of my bold predictions. And people talking about, oh, AJ's out of his mind. He's drinking too much. Ha ha, bitches. 2 power play goals, called it.
Rocket, what was your initial impressions of the game?
Hey, you know what? This is still I think okay, so this is the snarky takeaway, and this is kind of like that's so Sharks, but I'm gonna say this because I think that this game went sideways the way it did because opening night is not opening night unless it's against LA, and it just felt weird. And San Jose was on their heels a lot because they just were not used to this. It just feels, it's like kissing your cousin. It just feels weird. So I've heard, but it's not something that I think they're used to. And I think that once the Sharks play the Kings, it will be the official start of the San Jose Sharks season, and all of this will be rectified.
Yeah, maybe they just looked at the schedule and said, "Oh, wait a minute, we're not playing the Kings on opening night." I guess it's not opening night.
Yeah.
Puck Guy, do you want to chime in with your initial thoughts from the tank, or at least walking back from the tank?
Hi guys, it's Gentry, currently Puck Guy is driving. My initial thoughts were this. I'm very disappointed. Not in the Sharks' performance, because that was to be expected. I'm very disappointed that Nolan Patrick did not get his very first NHL goal against this team.
Dude, I was waiting for that, too. I was waiting for that.
How dare the Sharks spoil the Nolan Patrick show, okay? How dare they? But they let Wayne Simmons just, the Wayne train just come right in.
Yes, the Wayne train did come right.
Just to let you know, Patrick did get 3 shots on goal. I'm just saying.
He did get his first NHL goal in his first NHL game against anyone, against the Sharks. I mean, that's what we do.
That is very true. That's all the Sharks are known for, is giving up 3-0 series leads and letting rookies score their very first goal.
I heard that groan.
Oh, my goodness. No, Alex Puck Guy was not sent to the AHL. He was just sent home with AOL internet.
or a bad battery thanks to iOS 11.
That too.
Too many apps.
Too many apps. So quickly, let's go down the stat sheet. The Sharks had 35 shots on goal, face-off percentage at 48%, 2 for 6 on the power play, 10 penalty minutes, 14 hits, 17 blocks, and 20 giveaways. The Flyers had 31 shots on goal, 52% in the face-off dot, went 3 for 5 on the power play, 12 PIMs, 21 hits, 17 blocks, 9 giveaways.
Wow.
So should I just scooch the drum over right now and say, okay, it's not a power play drum anymore, it's a PK drum?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be the Sharks if we didn't oscillate between good power play, bad PK, all right PK, bad power play. It just wouldn't be the Sharks if both
Great
of those
road
things.
record, terrible home record.
Right.
Yeah.
It just.
Dude, literally one of the Flyers' goals, and I think it was the one that put them ahead, was after it was 3-3. And I remember leaning over to Puck Guy going, who the hell was it was at the point on that play? And it was either Couture or Hansen, but there was a play that led to the go-ahead goal for the Flyers, and it came right at the point. And you saw, and again, it was 36-39. It was hard to see what was going on because they were both involved in the play.
It was Hurdle.
Okay, Hurdle does not wear 36 or 39. I'm telling you, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at this crap. It was not Hurdle. I'm telling you, the play that I'm talking about, it was either Hansen or Couture, and I want to lean towards Couture. And literally, Couture got pyloned. Yeah. Absolutely pylon. He parked his ass on the blue line, and the Flyers skated right by him. And 5 seconds later, the puck ended up in the back of the net. And that was one that just killed me. Skylar saying, AJ Strong drinking confirmed. You are correct, and I'm already down for the Thanksgiving, baby.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, it's so good. It makes you want turkey and stuffing. I'm just saying.
No, Piper Down is awesome. And, of course, Dead Ringer.
No. Piper Down pumpkin spice.
Ah, very nice, very nice. The other great choice from the Ballast Point at this time of year is Dead Ringer, their Oktoberfest beer. This Teal Town, USA is brought to you by Ballast Point Beer. Let's go over the scoring real quick. In the first period, Claude Giroux opens it up 1-0. Then Jordan Wheel with the second goal, assist by Konechny and Gostisbehere. Kevin LeBanc answers back with an assist by Dylan and Pavelski. Kevin LeBanc scores again on the power play. That was unassisted. Wayne Simmons scores in the second period on the power play again. Philadelphia 3, San Jose 2. Logan opens up the third period scoring with a power play goal of his own. Wayne Simmons scores yet again on the power play. And then Wayne Simmons proceeds to get the hat trick with an empty net goal.
Can we talk about just for a second that, because there was a lot of debate about who was going to skate with the Joes with Marlowe's departure, right? And it was it could be Carlson, it could be Hansen, it could be LeBanc. And I was one of the first people that was No, it's got to be LeBanc. It has to be LeBanc. The guy's got a cannon. He's got a good laser shot. Dude, 2 goals. I mean, hello, LeBanc already making him, you know, like telling like the Sharks, hello, yeah, I'm with the Joes now. Just let you know, I'm up here, and you're not sending me down. And when I say sending me down, I'm not talking down to the Barracuda. I'm saying you're not taking me off this line.
No, I totally agree. I think he was really much puck pursuer. I think he actually stayed on the puck really well. Last year we saw him get pushed off the puck really easily. I think that time in the offseason spent training really helped him out. I think that helped his puck possession game quite a bit. But the other thing that I saw that was a little bit different than last year was he was really quick with his actions. First, either shooting or either dropping that pass. The puck was maybe on his stick for a few seconds, and he would make up his mind doing it. And that's a stark contrast than what I saw last year, where he would hold on to the puck a little bit, maybe see if he could get that one shot that he knew he was going to go in. But now it's just flick, either making a pass or making that shot. And really, I mean, if Jumbo Joe's going to be putting it on your tape, you know you're in a good spot to shoot. Rocket, what did you think about the first line tonight?
First line is always first line. It's the Joes plus anybody equals something's good's going to happen unless the opposing team's coaches really watch the tape. And then it's just the same thing that you watch get shut down repeatedly. I can't say that I really saw anything consistent insofar as change one side or the other, just because without Marlowe's role, without Marlowe being here to fulfill the role that he did, they're still trying to figure out who is going to be best suited to do that. And if it's going to take 2 or 3 different guys, where do you line them up with the different pairings of, you know, the forwards? Because as AJ has mentioned before, it does seem to have just pairings in the line, and the third person just gets swapped around. It might be God, I can't imagine that Pete's going to go all season with this heavy line blender. I really hope not. I hope not.
I'm just saying, Marlowe 2 goals tonight, LeBanc 2 goals tonight.
See, exactly, and I like that. I think that once Timo Meier gets a little bit more dialed in, he's going to be kind of like dialed in and super good, as long as he's not a headhunter. The thing that I noticed tonight is that the guys seem to be more aggressive, and they were more. They didn't, because the Flyers force you to play a really very low game. It's like just super physical, and there's not a lot of, if you try to do a drop pass, you're going to end up with a turnover, which is what happened 20 times tonight for the Sharks. It just, they seem, aside from that drop pass, to have a lot of their game together.
Yeah, I think we definitely saw that with Brendan Dillon tonight. He gave a couple of really juicy pucks down the center.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, on a couple of really ill-advised passes. You know, luckily he got bailed out by Jones, but still, you know, that kind of giveaway is really what's going to cost the Sharks. And everybody knows that my drum that I love to beat on is the giveaways. You're not going to be winning hockey games with 20 giveaways, and the Sharks just can't play that way. They just can't, especially if this team is going to score 3 to 4 goals a night. It can't be giving away the puck 20 times, especially giving it away in the slot. Puck guy or Gentry, did you guys? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say, especially when your goalie decides to recreate the Archer's Urbe turnover and then passes it straight to the Philly, and then, you know, Giroux just has the empty net and scores. I think that was an atrocious play by Jones. I think the giveaways tonight were just awful. I think, you know, Jumbo with his patented, you know, drop pass and hoping that somebody's going to be there, and of course nobody was. I mean, it's like, Joe, we're paying you $8 million, you know, go to the net every once in a while. We know you have a reconfigured knee that you need to worry about, but come on, man.
And the other thing, too, guys, was the dump and chase. You know, they were dumping, but they just weren't getting to the chase part, and the Flyers were beating them to the loose pucks, and that ended any chance of getting a scoring chance in their offensive zone.
And they also didn't
And I honestly don't think that our bottom six really had that great of a game. Hurdle and Chemo just did not look great out there. I mean, they looked great in the preseason, but they just didn't look.
Well,
They just,
yeah. Well, I want to quickly address that one. Kevin Lacey, our good friend of the podcast, of course, on the Pucknologists every once in a while, kind of told me, hey, you know, I need you to bring up a big point that Joel Ward was designated the 13th forward in the preseason, gets bumped up from fourth line duty to third line duty. And I thought that was really interesting that they took Hansen right off that third line with Timo and with Hurdle, and they put Ward there. And what I saw from that was that line got significantly slower when Ward was put there. And I noticed that their drop in play kind of coincided with Ward coming up to that line.
Well, wasn't Ward on that line during the last minute of the first period, though?
Right, so that change came really early. I mean, it came within the first 10 minutes.
So it may have slowed it down, but they produced.
Let's see. What did they end up with? Tonight, shots on goal, Ward 1, Hurdle 2, and Timo Meier, no shots on goal. Quickly, before we go any farther, I'd like to introduce everybody coming in on to the webcast to follow us. I'm going to pull that up on the graphics right now. And here we go. So go ahead and follow us on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and also follow us on Twitter at Teal Town USA. Let's see here.
Here's the part that's going to bake your noodle. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube, you name it. We've got it. Follow us. Go ahead.
Let me just throw this out here, just because I think it's really fun. There were two forwards that now, Landy, stop looking at the goddamn stats. There were two forwards tonight that tied for the lead in ice time. Go ahead. Just name one of them.
Teeth.
Yes, Couture was one of them. Name the other one.
Broken knee.
No.
Oh, Bodker.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I was looking at Thornton with 1804. Excuse me.
No, they like. It seems to me like the Sharks are really trying to give Bodker some rope. I'm not going to say to hang himself, but they're giving him rope. I mean, dude, tied for most ice time tonight for the forwards and got 5 minutes 14 on the power play.
And he honestly, he had 2 shots on goal. He needs to have way more than that.
Yeah, a giveaway, a takeaway, and ended up a -1. I mean, we're talking about the napkin line, right? Donskoy, Couture, and Bodker. And hopefully, because Bodker, we've seen the reports out of camp that he's trying to start to model his game after Pavelski, where he's going to go and get dirty. He's going to get in front of the net. It's not your your grandfather's Arizona game. It's a Sharks game. He needs to change up the way he plays. He needs to get dirty. And clearly, just based on this opening game, PDB is like going, yeah, go out there, get it. And we'll see if that's what happens versus LA on Saturday.
Well, and, I think the other thing, too, that I saw was just the Sharks looked a little slow. They looked 1 to 2 steps slow. And I primarily noticed it when it was the third and the fourth lines out there. I did not like Hansen's game. Ward's game was okay, but still, he should not be playing on third line. I think he's a fourth liner at this point in his career. And honestly, that second line defensively played okay, but offensively needed more from them. Donskoy looked a little timid.
Who was the guy that I used to make fun? Like, I used to clown on oh god, who was the guy Nieto. I used to clown on Nieto, and I used to say that he was like the next generation of a former Sharks player. Where it was just like
I know. Torrey Mitchell.
So, Torrey Mitchell
2.0.
Yeah, Torrey Mitchell. Well, yeah, and all of a sudden it's like just slid down to Bodker, where it's like all feet, no hands. And until Bodker proves otherwise, I'm just saying. And again, like I said, it's not like DeBoer has not given him at least opportunity in this first game, as I stated, tied with the most ice time tonight.
No, I totally agree. And if it were me going into the game against LA, I pull Ward out and I give that spot to Barclay Goodrow, because it looks like he's just a little bit quicker and he's a little bit more of a wrecking ball that can provide some more space for Hurdle and Meyer. And I would take out Hansen. I thought his game was horrible tonight, and I'd put in Carpenter and let Carpenter center the fourth line and put Chris on one of the wings. He had a wide open net and really should have sunk a goal tonight. I really felt bad for him, but his game looked pretty decent. It's kind of just going through the forwards here. Melker Karlsson, I really liked. He was on the puck tonight, very much a puck hound. Donskoy still seemed a little timid out there, kind of maybe getting his bearings a little bit. Of course, he hasn't played 100% since 2 years ago. Last year had the separated shoulders, so it just kind of getting back in the groove for him. But
I'm also a little surprised that Timo Meier ended up on the low end of the totem pole on the time on ice tonight.
Yeah, but I don't think he necessarily showed anything to bump up his time on ice either. I think I just really expected more from him. And Rocket, I want you to chime in on Timo too, because it just didn't seem like he was all there tonight.
I don't know if he got as much of an opportunity to be effective against certain people as he could have, but dude, like AJ was saying, there was such a line blender that it was really tough to watch who got paired up with who during what shift. And it's kind of like, okay, and I know AJ has made this argument before. I get that you're trying to try different combinations to find a spark, but maybe you should let things hold together long enough to gel to hold a spark. Like, some consistency would have been. I saw him once or twice make really aggressive just depth into the offensive zone. And it's the offending zone. And he looked good, and he didn't headhunt anybody, and I didn't notice him. And I think that's important. I think he's going to be fine.
Okay. Agent Carolina with a zinger on
Donskoy.
Yeah. Donskoy looked as nervous as me during my last proctological visit. Yeah, that's how I would put that too.
I don't mind the camera, it's the crew.
Yeah, make sure you get a lot of KY on that. But anyhow,
stupid nurse, I asked for a butt light, not a Bud Light.
Well, I think we would be remiss if we did not go over the goaltending tonight. And oh boy, that was kind of a rough outing for Martin Jones. He goes 26, saves 26 out of 30 shots tonight with an .867 save percentage. It was really not good.
He got challenged this evening. Woo!
He got challenged, but I do think that at least two of those goals, the guys in front of him hung him out to dry a little bit.
Well,
and once they locked the shit down, so I said a word. We got to put one in the cuss jar.
Yeah, deposit.
Yeah, we have to put a deposit. But I thought Jones actually. There was a couple times where he made some huge saves.
Huge.
Yeah, huge. And again, I go back and I sit there and go, Joner, there's a couple times they really didn't help you out. And again, I go back to that play that Couture got pyloned on. There was another play that it looked like DeMello just literally coughed the puck up. And, maybe we see Yoki Ryan earlier than we might have thought. Maybe we see Heed, somebody to take in DeMello's spot. I mean, because right now, literally, it is like DeMello's spot to lose. And right now, he's not he's not making a big name for himself.
I wasn't comfortable with this pair last year at all. And I'm like, everybody was like, oh, DeMello's a great defenseman, but the pairing of Dylan and DeMello is not good.
Well, so here's why I think that pairing is not good. I think that Dylan sees himself as more of an offensive defenseman when he's paired with DeMello, because he thinks, oh, I can kind of go out there and kind of freewheel a little bit because I've got more of a stay-at-home defenseman in DeMello. However, DeMello is more of a prototypical two-way defenseman, meaning he's going to be able to chip in on offense, kind of got a good wrist shot, but is also pretty defensively aware. However, when you kind of pair that with Dylan, who thinks, well, okay, I'm going to be more of the stud in this pair, because I think, he probably feels like he's got, I would say, more service time or more experience, whatever. But I feel like he takes on the persona of, okay, I'm going to carry this pair. And I don't think that that's good for him. I think that
you're making a really good point. I kind of felt the same, where DeMello and Dylan were kind of trying to skate over their skis a little bit, where it was kind of like, your job is to keep the puck deep, and if the shot presents itself, okay, but your job is just to keep the shit deep. And another one in the jar, but keep it deep. And I mean, who knows what PDB was saying to him on the bench, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I think it might even serve Dylan a little bit better to have Heed, a real offensive defenseman, on that pair.
No, I agree.
Because then it kind of forces Dylan to be the stay-at-home defenseman that he is actually good at. He is not great at the first pass. He is not great at making offensive zone reads. He pinched twice tonight that were really ill-advised, that led to 2-on-1s. And, if you get maybe a person who's a little bit more offensively minded and pushes Dylan back into that defensive responsibility, I think that that's a good thing. Quickly, I kind of wanted to counter a little bit on the Martin Jones. The first two goals were horrible. The first pass out that Martin Jones, where he kind of tried to flick it off to his winger but got intercepted, was horrible. That was a bad read. And the second goal was he didn't play the puck right. So those first two goals were all his fault. The following two goals, I agree, the defense did kind of leave him hanging out to dry. Rocket, what do you think about the goals?
After the first goal, I thought, okay. And after the second goal, I thought, okay. And it didn't really get much better from there. Like, I didn't really read too much into any of this game, to be honest, because it's the first of 82 games. And to really read a lot into anything that happened tonight, I think, is just a waste of energy, mental and emotional energy that I'm trying to save for more important games down the road. I think that the officiating is going to be a point of contention with this league again this year. I think that if this is an indicator of things to come, then all 31 teams in the league are going to have challenging moments like this due to the officiating.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that the officiating tonight was very ticky-tacky. I think Kevin LeBanc got rung up 3 times, 2 of which were questionable. 1, he did trip him, but...
I'm sorry, Gudis runs a guy and he doesn't get 10 in a game?
Yeah, especially in the last, what was it, last 2 minutes?
2 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, that was buffoonery right there at its greatest.
Up until the last 5 minutes of the game, I really didn't have a problem with the officiating tonight. I thought for the most part, it was kind of balanced. The Philly got more chances early, but then the Sharks came. But it's that whole thing of you gotta make your own luck. And the Sharks, if they're going to skate harder, if they're going to get to the dirty zones quicker and skate harder, make Philadelphia, play clutch and grab. Which, I mean, let's be honest, Philadelphia's been known for forever.
True.
So.
Right.
If the Sharks can take advantage of that, they have to. So they weren't able to. And again, you go back to Jones. First two were kind of, it's the beginning of a new season. But after that, they kind of had it on lockdown. But the defense needs to tighten up a little bit more. Again, though, I still go back to what I said last night with the predictions, and DeMello. Dude, I'm rooting for you, but I don't think you're going to be here after Halloween.
Yeah, he looked really timid. I mean, he looked like a guy that's playing with a lot of pressure to produce. And like we have seen and we have said before, Dylan needs a puck mover with him. I mean,
he needs a dance partner.
He needs a dance partner, and he needs somebody that can take the puck off of his hand. Schlemko was that guy. Schlemko moved the puck, and whenever Dylan got in trouble, Schlemko was kind of a safety blanket in the offensive zone.
Nick Neff-Teppets in the chat saying, I think who the Sharks take on their road trip will tell us more who will play up more than tonight will.
I agree.
I think Nick Neff-Teppets is wondering if they're going to take an autographed Donskoy jersey on their next road trip.
Only if it's good luck.
Only if it's good luck, right? Right. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's kind of crappy because it was just kind of that game that kind of got your hopes up when they kind of tied it up, and then it kind of just devolved a little bit into a meh kind of game, and I don't know. I think this shows that there's some good young stuff in the pipe. I think Kevin LeBanc really is the kind of the bright star that's going to be emerging. But we also see where the fruit's kind of wilting on the vine a little bit. I think we're starting to see the end of Paul Martin. I mean, he didn't look very great. I think we're starting to see Hansen and Ward just not cut it anymore. I don't know. Where do you guys see the weaknesses of this team kind of shaping out over the season?
This is game 1 of 82 games. For you to say that they're starting any kind of trajectory towards any kind of course is way too invested in calling for super speculation that I am not comfortable making. Like Chris in the chat says, I'll worry if we're seeing this play as a pattern after 10 games. We've seen a ton of season openers where they came out like gangbusters and then slowed down a few games later. That's where I'm at. I need to save my emotional energy. My hair's turned white. I just can't.
I started getting grays at 22. Okay, so I know how you feel.
See, I'm a little. I don't want to say flip side. I mean, I'm definitely not hitting the panic button after game 1 of 82, but there are a couple guys. It's Ward, it's Bodker that, let's be honest, have to be looking over their shoulders saying, if we do not produce, we're going to get bumped. And you got to know that they're, whether it's Regan or Carpenter or whoever it is that is hungry right now, they're coming. And or Heed or Yoki Ryan that's coming after DeMello or even Dylan's spot, depending on how they play. Again, game 1 of 82. So let's see what we see against LA and see if they tighten up some things. This could very well be a case of DeBoer saw some things he liked, like LeBanc up with the Joes, and maybe he saw some stuff he didn't like. I mean, please, let's not get into the Hansen deal, because it's like I was happy to be done with Goldobin, and I've said this a million times, is that to me, Goldobin treated hockey season as like what happens between summers when you can go to the beach.
Right.
But the return of Hansen, I wasn't a fan of, but that's just because I hate the Vancouver Canucks. So there you go.
Yeah.
Someone say Vancouver.
Vancouver. I think for me, the biggest, I guess, letdown disappointment was we just saw a lot of the same inconsistencies and a lot of the same story be ported from last year. I mean, basically, every season opener, we kind of see, okay, is this a rerun of what we've seen before? Is this a little bit different? That first year that Peter DeBoer got here, it seemed like the team's kind of whole energy shifted. Last year, it seemed like it was a continuation of the prior year, but of course kind of got marred by injuries. This year kind of reminds me a lot of the second half of last year, where it just was a little flat. And to be quite honest, I mean, I don't know that we're going to be seeing the same scoring issues. I really have high hopes for the kids kind of stepping up and really, fulfilling their promise of being good prospects. But I think the one that worries me is Bodker and Donskoy. Those two are the keys to the success of the Sharks.
So it's not the kids necessarily that you're worried about, whether it's Timo or LeBanc or anybody else who ends up getting called up like O'Regan or Carpenter or whatever. It's you kind of fall in the same spot as me, is like, can Hurdle have a healthy season the entire way through? Can Bodker bounce back? And I put an article up on Teal Town USA earlier this week where history is actually on Bodker's side. Like, if you go back over the last 5 years, it was like 26 points, 51 points, 28 points, 51 points last year, 26 points. So history is on his side. Maybe he can crack 50 points again. Maybe for the first time in his career, he can crack 20 goals. And it's not like right now PDB is not trying to give him the opportunity to do it. I mean, being up on the first power play unit, being up
right
on the on the second line with Couture and Donskoy. I mean, the opportunity is there. He just has to seize it, Rocket.
How many games do you think Pete gives him in order to turn this into a nice Gorilla Glue epoxy?
We're talking about Bodker?
Yeah.
I'd say 10. I'd say 5 at home, 5 away. But then again, I mean, I say that, but then again, of course, we talked about it earlier. PDB halfway through the second was already, grabbing the line blender and letting it mix. So who knows?
Right.
But I think they're definitely dude, how are you? I mean, this, think about it. This was the last major deal that I can think of that Doug Wilson made. Like, this was, we all saw the Sharks get just skated by from the Penguins in the final. And one of the reasons why Bodker was brought in is because he brought speed. And again, I go back to, the Torrey Mitchells and everything like that, when it's like, well, speed is great, but if you can't finish, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. So I think they're going to give Bodker like maybe 5 to 10 games, and they're going to see what he can produce on that second line with some consistency. Again, with, you have to have consistent line mates to build up a chemistry. So we'll get him out there with Donskoy and Couture regularly. We'll put him up. I don't know that I like him on the top power play unit. I think I would rather have LeBanc up there, but it's not like PDB is not giving Bodker every opportunity. But let's see what he does, because, 4 years at $4 million per, dude, you got to produce.
Yep. Totally agree. All right. Well, let's get some final thoughts in here. Let's also kind of end on a positive note, what we think the lines are going to be like for the game against LA on Saturday. and start wrapping it up. So AJ, you want to kind of venture to guess if we'll see any differences?
Versus LA on Saturday, I don't know that we'll see any difference because, as several people have mentioned in the chat, it's one game. There you go. You can't base the entire season on one game. So it wouldn't surprise me if P2B wants to see this squad, look at what they did tonight, make adjustments, and come out firing a little harder versus LA on Saturday. And be done with that, and then you can try to make an educated guess as to what you're going to do going forward, because the Sharks do kind of benefit with the fact that the first 5 games are at home, and obviously you've got the Barracuda right next door. You can make quick adjustments. You can do what you need to do. I think that's a great benefit for the Sharks that the first 5 are at home. So I would just roll with that. PDB is going to get the line blender moving quick, and there you go. Aside from that, I would say next Wednesday, basically a week from tonight, look for the first episode of the Pucknologists that is not a season preview, just a weekly wrap.
Rocket, do you have anything to add for the Saturday's game, or anything you want to kind of cap off for tonight's game?
Saturday's game is the official season opener for the San Jose Sharks. Tonight was just an extension of preseason with points. So I think that it'll be a better outing, and like Chris says, they can play against them because they're kind of slow. It will be a fun game to watch. It'll be chippy. It's going to be ugly. People are going to get snotty. It's California hockey, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
especially if Jonathan Quick wants Pavelski's autograph on something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? The Kings always bring out a good fight in the Sharks. So
yeah,
it'll be good to see that. And I think that game will show and tell a little bit more about where this team is at. And then once we get a little bit of a sample size, 4 or 5 games, we'll kind of see, okay, let's check in. Unfortunately, the opening night streak of winning has died, and it stood at 7. It was a good run, but Philadelphia Flyers, again, take us down 5-3. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I believe there's a red button somewhere down across this bar here. And, again, you can catch us on pretty much any social media that you can think of, but iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, we're all there. Of course, you can always tune in to tealtownusa.com for great content. You've got the Pucknologists up there. You've got us up there, and a lot of great articles by the crew as well. So for AJ, for Rocket, for Puck Guy, this is Landy signing off, and we'll see you next time.